back. The Herald Mail reported recently that NBC will end its longtime affiliation with NBC 25. Henry, what is happening here?
I think it's really NBC is just sort of strutting their stuff, and they're trying to wean themselves to lesser performing networks. And I'm not saying that as harshly for WHAG, but the cable system and the satellite system has really evolved over time.
Hugh Breslin's going to call you, and he's going to say,
I'm sorry.
He's going to do a Trump, you know?
This is not to upset Hugh Breslin. I think they have a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah.
That's really where I think we're going with this. Okay, NBC did the same thing in Boston to their flagship station in Boston. They're pulling the franchise from them.
Do you watch him?
In Boston or WHAG?
WHAG.
WHAG, I get most of my news off of what my wife tells I'm allowed to watch. So, no, I don't see HAG very often. Okay, but as it's coming in off cable, it's a different market. I think where HAG can really specialize as we go down the road is becoming more involved in the four-state reporting and emphasizing that.
Well, yesterday I talked to a reporter there at our Bull and Oyster Roast, and I had a chance to, I said, you know, what's happening with this move? And he said, you know, nothing's really going to, I said, is anything going to change? And he's, you know, just, they're going to expand their coverage, he said, into Montgomery County, which is, I think is a good thing.
Well, they're sort of going like the local newspaper route went when the newspaper industry collapsed on itself. Then we started to see pop-up local newspapers and communities starting to get some traction.
And blogs,
I think that's
right?
how, exactly. But I think that's how it's going. One of the things that concerned me in the newspaper was the dedication to Hagerstown itself.
Yeah.
Okay, because the HAG and WHAG is for Hagerstown. So I hope that they still maintain Hagerstown as the emphasis, but we can expand up to Chambersburg, Winchester, which they already cover. West Virginia, which does not have very much news coverage as it stands.
It's going to go deeper into West Virginia. They're going to have blockbuster movies. They're going to have more entertainment, and they're going to increase the number of hours that they do news. And of course, you know, you look at the driving news networks like MSNBC and CNN and Fox, et cetera, that do news all the time. You know, we may get a different take on the news from our local station than in the past. We're probably going to get a lot more local. We may get a different national slant. NBC obviously has been, you know, is a sort of a left-leaning, if you will, TV station. And so I think perhaps it'll be a positive for them. Plus, they're going to hire new employees. So
They're not bounded by
It's also
NBC.
It's also job creation.
But what about Nexstar? Because I think isn't Nexstar the one they kind of operate? How's that work?
I believe they're the parent company.
They're the parent company.
Right.
So I think
Nexstar, I don't think is affiliated with NBC.
No. So I
they'd
think,
still
you know,
be
as
there.
you said, they're going to be bringing more people into the community to promote their business.
So you have job creation.
So we have the
which is
job
good.
creation. They're going to have a little bit of challenge maintaining the revenue stream because they're no longer affiliated with NBC. But honestly, my watching of network television has become curtailed because of how much is available on the cable side.
Or the internet.
Or, well, you might surf a lot of the internet. I know there's a couple blogs that you like to follow and such. But
He just likes to get domain names. That's all he likes.
oh, okay. But where we're headed here is I think it's
my
a
last call,
great
Raj.
opportunity for them that they can expand and get more in touch with the local community and build a new product that's marketable to us.
Yeah.
Carl, you have some thoughts on this?
No, I really don't care about them one way or another.
So you don't watch it?
Huh?
You don't watch local?
I'll watch the local news
breaking
every once
news
in a while.
hard.
That's about
You're
it.
breaking
I
news
know.
They do some
That
good
may be one of the reasons people like me be one of the reasons why
So,
NBC's
long
pulling
time
out. I don't
ago,
know.
a couple years, well, a long time ago, I was an intern at WHAG, and I worked under Mark Cram. Great guy, very smart guy, journalist to the core, and I worked with at that time Peter Bickford, one of the assistant news director, and they really had a knack and a talent for discovering what is and what isn't news in the county. And they did some really great local coverage, and they hired some talent. I mean, they hired some real talent. A lot of people that have been at WHAG have gone on. My friend Nikki Burdine, Nikki was, after she left WHAG, she went to Kentucky, and now she's down at WUSA 9.
Right.
They say it's a starter station for reporters, and it is, because they get an opportunity to be in a small town, gather news, and be a source for it. And they've churned out some really great reporters.
This may make this station still a starter station for reporters, but in fact, it may expand it. Since they're expanding their area, they're expanding their programming, they're expanding their news coverage.
Yeah.
I think they're like 20, 20 or 50, somewhere between 20 and 50 hours a week. They may be doing 20 now.
I think they were talking moving
going
up to 50.
Going to 50
50
hours,
hours
50 hours a
local
week
news?
of news. Yes, of news, and it could be local, could be national. Perhaps some of these folks will actually stay longer rather than leave there.
Well, one thing that plays into because of where Hagerstown's located, we're located in the DC marketing area.
Yeah.
And so that really impacts their ad revenue dollars because they're sharing it with WRC, okay, for NBC dollars. So this is a little bit of an opportunity that they can
Yeah.
develop.
get new revenue dollars.
In Montgomery County, there's a big section of the DC market that cover the Montgomery County, but there's a lot of places too that now that the Gazette is gone in Montgomery County, it ended. They're sort of bereft of having that news coverage, and there's a lot of stuff. I mean, Montgomery County has 1 million people, and if WHAG starts coming stories down that way, to add into more of the programming, if they're going to increase the news coverage, that would be worthwhile to watch for me down in Montgomery County.
But does Comcast, I believe they're the provider in Montgomery County.
Yeah, Comcast.
Okay, does Comcast pick up WHAG and
Could.
offer on their network?
Maybe.
I mean, that's key for
You never know.
WHAG to grow and succeed. They need the other regional companies aside from Antietam Cable to offer their.
Yeah.
They're opening up new offices. I mean, this whole thing is set to launch, I think, July the 1st. And so,
What do you mean they're opening new offices?
Well, they're, I think, in Winchester, and I think they're looking at
They were expanding south into
someplace in
Virginia.
Germantown, I think a place in Virginia, perhaps,
Mhm.
eventually in 2017.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty big expansion going on here, and this may be, after 40 years of being an affiliate with NBC, this may be something that really just expands.
Well,
into a
gentlemen,
bigger
I've certainly
market.
learned an awful lot with this. Thank you all very much. The applicants are in for the vacant county commission seat. We'll take a look at the candidate pool.